you may have come across the idea of range of motion. You might have looked at different parts of your body and different parts of your body ranges of motion. So you might think about like your hamstring flexibility or your neck flexibility, different shoulder flexibility. But one thing that you might be missing is your rib cage has a range of motion. So part of my daily routine, and I get really excited about this, is to challenge my rib cage range of motion. So my ribs wrap from the front, wrap around to the back, and what they do is they hinge up and they hinge down. So all of these different levels of my ribs, they hinge up and they hinge down. And so part of what I teach people to do is you want to challenge that, because it's a use it or lose it situation. You could really start to lose the range of motion of your ribs. I'm going to take a couple TheraBands and I'm going to wrap them onto my back. And I don't have a lot of tension on these bands. I just have a little bit of tension, and that gives me a little bit of an indication, a little sense of the range of motion of my rib cage. I'm going to touch my back onto the wall. That's going to give me a sense of my range of motion as well, because when I breathe in, my ribs expand out, and I want to feel my back actually expanding and touching more onto the wall. Now my first breath, it's actually going to be slow and gentle, and I'm using this TheraBand to help me feel how much motion I'm getting at my ribs. It's going to be a relaxed inhale, but all the way. At the end of that inhale, I'm going to start to almost like stutter to the end, so I just get a touch more. I'm going to go into my inhale. There's my ribs articulating up. That's my range of motion for this moment. Now I'm going to go into my exhale. I'm going to start to pay attention to the bottom of my ribs because they're going to be hinging down. I'm going to start to get activation a little bit through my core. I'm actually going to start to use these TheraBands to actually allow that to hinge down. And what you want to check in with is right and left moving equally. So you don't want just one side hinging. You want to try and put both sides through their full range of motion. So my brain is going to be switching back and forth, right, left, right, left, right, left, so that I can feel that range of motion hinging down. Also, my brain is going to be thinking about that full rib and it hinging down from my back to the side to the front. So my brain is crazy active exploring my rib cage. I'm gonna lean against the wall, which gives me some sensation. I've got these bands, a sensation, and it's gonna be a smooth exhale. I'm gonna close my eyes. Just want every little bit of attention in my rib cage. Started to get a little bit challenging. Just like if I stretched my hamstrings, I would get that point where I was like, this is where I start to feel my range of motion, and that's where I start to push comfortably through, and my brain is just surfing through all of my ribs, the different levels of my ribs, the sides of my ribs, the activation, different alignment pieces. I might put my body into different alignments. So I might be here, I might do a slight turn, I might take these ribs, close them down towards my pelvis, And I might do an exhale here. More left focus. Then I jump over to my right. Feel that bottom rib. I can poke my fingers into my stomach. I can find that rib, and I'm gonna drop it down and in, and then challenge my exhale. Down, in, done my left. I'm gonna check in with my right. Ooh, wonderful. It's just a little bit of work. Just a little daily check-in with the range of motion of my ribs.